yang berseri.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Ya Tuhan kami, berilah kami kebaikan di dunia dan kebaikan di akhirat, dan lindungilah kami dari azab api neraka.
Assalamualaikum and good evening, dear listeners. I'm DJ Shara, your announcer for today's session, and you guys are listening to IMFM, your campus radio. Welcome back to another episode of The Princess Diaries. In today's episode, we're talking about all things books, because what's a princess without wisdom? Whether it's to change your mindset, boost your confidence, or just escape into a beautifully written story, I've got the perfect lineup for you. Obviously, there's no better person to do all this with than our special guest today, Sister Kaisara. She's built an amazing community around reading and personal growth, and she's here to spill the beans on the best books to add to your Regal reading list. Welcome to IMFM, Kaisara.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me.
How are you feeling today?
I was a bit nervous.
Is this your first time at the studio?
Yeah, so it's my first time.
And what a time, because we chatted a bit off air, and
Yes.
this is your final year.
Yes.
So do you feel like it just wraps up your experience at IIUM?
I would say so.
Right. We maybe you would like to introduce a bit of yourselves to our listeners today.
All right. Thank you so much. Especially IIM for inviting me. My name is Kaisara Muhammad. So I am the founder of Mockingbird Book Club. So we are heading to 2 years now, Alhamdulillah.
Wow, 2 years.
So I am the eldest from 8 siblings.
Oh, 8.
Yes, 8. And I'm currently taking a double degree in laws and Sharia. I'll be expecting to graduate by next year, 2026. So actually, this is a great opportunity for me. I wasn't expecting at all.
Really?
Thank you so much.
Because you've never had people approach you about these kind of things?
Actually, I did, but then still I turned down the offer for quite some time because I was juggling with a lot of things.
Yes.
So I want to prioritize what I should prioritize first.
Understood. So what an honor for me. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's such an honor.
Right. Because I didn't tell you this while we were off air, but then I found Mockingbird Book Club through you.
Oh, really?
I think it was, I can't remember what event it was exactly, but it was that day where you guys set up a booth and you had desserts.
Aww.
Yeah, and you said, okay, if you follow us, you can get desserts for free. So I was like, oh, okay, why not? So I followed you guys. And then I joined the WhatsApp community, and then you texted me. You asked me what was my favorite genre to read, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was a personal thing. I didn't know you reached out to everyone one by one. So which is why I sought an interest in the Mockingbird Book Club.
Oh, yes, I did actually reach out one by one.
Really?
Of my
Wow, that's a lot of dedication. And obviously, because we can see that you invest so much of your time and energy into the Mockingbird Book Club, we should start off by asking you what inspired you to start the book club, and how did it grow into the community that it is today?
Okay, to answer that question, it's quite personal actually.
Really?
When I started Mockingbird Book Club, it was on 29th June 2023. I was in a state of very strong emotion. I was in the face of quite struggling on that time. I was in midlife crisis, I would say. Okay, and then I met wrong people in my life, and then toxic friendship and so on.
I see.
So that was the time I was in searching of myself, where I heading to.
Yeah.
So that was the point. And then book always become a sanctuary for me.
So you were like, why not build a community around it?
Yes, that's the
I
thing.
see. So if this would be Mockingbird's second year, meaning you started it around your second year of your studies?
Yes.
That's wow. And you would have been around 22, 23.
2020?
when you started it?
Yes, 2020, yes.
Oh, so how old are you this year?
Sorry?
How old are you
Oh,
this
24.
year? Oh, you're 24. I see. Okay, do you... Obviously, this because reading seems like you hold it very close to your heart. Do you remember the first book that made you fall in love with reading?
Yes, I did. It was when I was in my formative year, I would say. My mom always went to Tesco, and then there's the one section.
Uh-huh.
If you happen to know the kids section, which depicted and showcased all the compilation 16 sets of folktale story and so on. So my mom always purchased that book and then went back and gave it to me. And then once I've done reading, and then my mom will go back again
and get a new
one. So that was my first time like reading Malay books. But for English book, I took quite some time because like I used to hate English, but now I love English. Okay. When it comes to English book, I started to read English when I was in my Form 2.
Oh, okay.
My first English book was Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, that's a good start.
The Boscombe Valley Mystery. It was a starter for me. And then it really makes me ponder upon where am I along the way. Why I'm not reading English back then. So I really like English from that day onward, and it is a new world for me, especially to the mystery world on how Sherlock Holmes settled the case and so on.
Yes.
So I really like that. But even till now, I still have all the sets of Sherlock Holmes in my home.
Wow, really? So a mystery genre speaks to you the most. That's great because I personally I'm not a huge fan of mystery.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think the world building it gets a bit because to set up the story it gets a bit dull.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to sit through that.
Okay, I can relate at first.
maybe like you'll recommend me a good one.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. All right, so now you guys have heard a little bit about our guest today, and obviously there's so much more to talk about. And this episode was one that I personally looked forward to very much because I love reading very much as well. So we will keep discussing our topic, and there's so much more to talk about right after a short break. Keep tuning into IMFM, your campus radio. We'll be right back.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Khadijah, the guest of second episode of Sautul Arabi. Don't forget to tune in for all IIUM FM listener. IIUM FM, your campus radio.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Brother Adlan, the chairperson of Quran and Sunnah Study Student Association Kusa. Today I want to share to you guys a simple dua that we can recite to improve ourselves, which has been taught by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dua, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatik, which means, oh Allah, help me to remember you, to be grateful to you, and to worship you in an excellent manner. So let us practice this dua to improve ourselves in our daily life.
Sebenarnya program ini kita harapkan kita dapat menjalankan aktiviti-aktiviti untuk kita sharing. Sharing is caring. Keruntuhan umat manusia, umat Islam hari ini dah sampai maksimum. Kita hilang yang pertama sekali hati, akal yang sedar dengan fitrah. Bila kita hilang tadi itu, sebenarnya kita telah hilang Allah daripada hidup.
Dan Dakwah every Wednesday 6 to 7 p.m. Stay tuned with us. I'm DJ Atika and I'm DJ Ati at iim.fm, your campus radio.
When interacting with individuals with autism spectrum disorder (ASD), it's essential to be patient, understanding, and mindful of their unique communication styles.
Don't be aggressive. Approach them calmly.
Tune in to IIUM FM, your campus radio.
with me at IMFM, your campus radio. And we are at our second episode on the Princess Diaries with our special guest today, Sister Kaisara, the founder of the Mockingbird Book Club. Now, we're going to go a bit off script because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I invited Kaisara over out of my own personal greed because I really wanted to meet her and I wanted to know all about the Mockingbird Book Club. So, let's dive a bit back into how and why you started the Mockingbird Book Club. You mentioned that you were in a sort of like a difficult time. It was a difficult time for you. You were around toxic people.
Back then, yes. It's not like really toxic. It's just that me and a few friends of mine, we are not that aligned in like goals and life and so on. So I was in like a bit of a dissenting opinion sometimes, and I think like I cannot go with that anymore. Might be them or even me myself, we outgrow each other. So it was a time, and then these people used to be like my intellectual circle back then. So I was thinking about, since I'm no longer with them, I was thinking about creating a new one with the new people, and then just change the ambience, because like I want something new, especially when it comes to perspective.
Yes.
And yeah, I think I just don't want to go for like heavy reading all the time. I want something that is more leisure. So that's the reasons why.
That's really interesting, and it's really brave because because it's a big step. I mean, it seems small, but then I think it's a really big step, and to actually initiate, like realizing that I need a new perspective on life. And have you met many friends since then, since the start of the community?
Yeah, I would say like but not really a bunch. It's a plethora, I would say.
Really?
Yes.
Like your closest friends now?
Yeah, they're becoming my closest friend now. My members of the club. Sometimes we hang out.
Oh wow, really?
And having coffee.
Oh, that's so fun because I do see you guys sometimes go live, where you discuss books, and I go in sometimes. I'm like, this is fun. Okay, yeah, I will definitely be more active in the future.
Please do.
That's so great. And yes, I really think it's a brave step because because you're starting a community, and at 22, being 22 myself, it's a very daunting move, I would say.
I think because of like a strong emotion I had during that time.
And that's great. I'm so great that like it's really amazing to hear that like you took these, I guess you would say, somehow negative emotions, and you channeled them in like a way that somehow not only benefits you, but now it creates a space for like a whole lot of other people. I'm sure a lot of people in the book club are grateful as well for the space. Okay, so our listeners are like, okay, when are we gonna get to the books?
Okay, fine.
Okay, sure, yeah, we'll get into it. Let's go. Okay, so obviously reading is very important for personal growth. In your opinion, what makes books such a powerful tool for personal growth?
Okay, I would say for me, books are incredibly powerful tools for personal growth, because it's not just only when we read, we're absorbing information. It really helps us to think, to make us educate ourselves on how to see things differently, and also to reflect ourselves. So it was a thing. A second thing is that we need to like coming back to the original, back to the square, is that reading really help us to build empathy and also patience. Because whenever you read, for example, like 300 pages, certain time you cannot like complete or finish that book within a day, right?
Yes.
So it actually foster you to become more patient, in the sense that you learn about someone, other people's life, on how they gone through challenges and so on. So that was the thing.
Yeah, I do agree. I think books, they really help you put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yes, that's the thing.
Because like, you read through the things that people go through, and it's like from the author's head, and you really see how, I guess you could feel a certain way in certain situations.
Subconsciously.
Yes. And if someone is new to reading self-development books, so where should they start?
Okay, I recommend my personal best favorite is that Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
All right. So basically, this book helped me and changed the way I think about ability and also talent. Because like when I was a kid, I have this limiting belief in which I see people who are becoming athlete or professional in settings. For example, I was thinking that they are born with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking like that first time. And then after I bought this book, I bought this book like 2 years ago, before I started A Mockingbird, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then it changed the way I think about, because like Dr. Kardec mentioned about two types of mindset. That is a growth mindset and also fixed mindset.
Okay.
So in order for you to foster growth mindset, you need to love challenge.
So you can't sit in your comfort zone.
Yes, that's so true. And I think being a fixed mindset, it's a bit daunting for me, and I don't want to sit in the same place forever.
Yeah.
So I challenged myself, and from that day onward, I was twist the way I think, that I also can become a greater person, the bestest person in any place I want to go. It's just that you need to foster.
And hence why you started the Mockingbird book club.
So that was the thing.
So you think this is you personally recommend this book as a great starter book
Yes,
for those,
for self-development.
because it's like a perspective changer.
Yes. So
All
true.
right. Okay. Well, I'm definitely reading it. And what are some of your other than the one that you've recommended, your personal favorites or recommendations that you believe is a must read, especially for women in their 20s?
When it comes to this, I got 3. It's a non-exhaustive list, but
Okay.
this one I have filter first before I came out with this 3. First book is Ayuhal Walad.
Okay.
Ayuhal Walad by Imam Ghazali. I happened to read this when I was in my car 3 to 2 years ago, and it changed my mind, especially when it comes to sincerity, how to seeking knowledge, and also humility. You need to know yourself in order for you to know God.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was like
That's
mind changing for me.
Uh-huh.
So it was the first book I would recommend. And then second book is that Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist.
okay.
Okay, I think this book is really interesting because it's just a story. If I'm not mistaken, Paulo Coelho write this book almost like 2 weeks, just 2 weeks,
Oh.
and then publish.
Wow.
So it's quite short a time.
Yeah, it's a short,
yes,
yeah.
for a writer to read
Yes.
such a powerful and influential book. The Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. So this book is about trusting the journey that you need to go through, all the obstacles, all the detour is it's going to take you to the exact destination that you should be.
I see. Okay.
Second book.
And hold that third book because we gotta keep them on their edge of their seat. So if you guys want to go know the third book, make sure you're tuning in. We'll be right back for a short break. All right.
Minister of Higher Education of Malaysia, Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Sri Diraja Dr. Zamri bin Abdul Kadir, reminding you to listen to
IIU FM, your campus radio.
5 tips for success in campus. Build a social network.
It's important to make friends of the mass of people by finding those you can relate to and trust. If your roommate is a no-go on the friendship front, seek out activities in your campus.
Get good with names.
Meeting people can be awesome, so make yourself special by being the one who knows everyone you meet.
Fill out your campus.
Get to know your new home by finding a place for everything. Find a specific place to study, make this place your own, and you'll be more comfortable in your new home. Be aware that your space is shared, not owned, and be prepared to find a new place if needed.
Create rituals.
Establish familiarity through daily, weekly, and monthly rituals. They can be more formal, such as going out to dinner once a week with your roommate or significant other.
Remember what you are at campus to do.
You are at campus to learn. The campus is there to provide you with a great education. So, do your part and go to class. This message is brought to you by IIM.FM, your campus radio.
For the perfect pick-me-up, head over to Kopiku, serving happiness in every cup. Our best sellers include the signature Kopiku Latte, creamy matcha latte, indulgent creamy latte, unique bundle latte, and refreshing Kopiku Milk Tea. Located at the Human Sciences Building, they're open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. So, what are you waiting for? Stop by Kopiku and treat yourself to the ultimate latte experience. Kopiku, where every sip is a smile.
Sebenarnya program ini kita harapkan kita dapat menjalankan aktiviti-aktiviti untuk kita sharing. Sharing is caring. Keruntuhan umat manusia, umat Islam hari ini dah sampai maksimum. Kita hilang yang pertama sekali hati, akal yang sedar dengan fitrah. Bila kita hilang tadi tu, sebenarnya kita telah hilang Allah daripada hidup.
Hashtag Dan Dakwah every Wednesday 6 to 7 p.m. Stay tuned with us. I'm DJ Atika and I'm DJ Ati at iim.fm, your campus radio.
Welcome back to IMFM, your campus radio. Still with me, DJ Shara, on our second episode of The Princess Diaries on the Regal reading list. And still with us, obviously, is our very special guest today, Sister Kaisara. Right, so we kind of left you guys hanging for a bit there. Okay, so what was the third book?
Okay, the third book is Hunger by Zinge. So basically, this book is a personal memoir about the author herself, about body image, trauma, and also self-acceptance.
I see.
I happened to read this book last year. It was an eye-opening personally because, like, we as a woman, sometimes we have insecurity, right?
Yeah.
And also, we sometimes doubt ourselves whether we can do this or not, and then we sometimes even self-deprecating, which is not good for ourselves. And I think this book is really empowering and healing. It shows that healing is not linear in this book, so it's really realistic, and I really like the way authors try to segregate on how she cope this kind of things.
All right, understood. And how about, like, obviously these are all self-help books. Feel free to go astray, but then which book do you find yourself recommending or reaching out to over and over again?
I know this is out of my genre.
Okay. It's okay. I mean, we don't all just read one genre.
Okay. I'm really love to read John Gray books. Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus.
Oh.
I read it 3 times. Like, this is the, I would say, I was always go through and living through. Like, if I got that book beside me, I was living through every day. I don't know why.
Okay, could you maybe tell our listeners a bit, like, on what that book is about?
Okay, basically this book is about how women and men think, especially in a relationship, and how actually even a simple sentence can be interpreted differently between men and women. So that was the thing that I find really interesting, because, like, even though we are as a human being, we can see that 2 different species thinking. It's just that so amazing. I wasn't expecting that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and well, you've already did it, but you gave us books that women must read in their 20s. But then if you had to create a starter pack of 3 books for new readers, like people who are completely new to the reading scene, what would they be?
I think first, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I will always go back to that book because, like, it's very thin. It's only 100-something pages.
Oh, okay,
so you can, like, read it in one sitting. That was first book. And then second book, go for something like magazines, if possible. For me, like, don't force yourself to, like, read
like a thick
book at first place. Because, like, I myself, I read Majalah Wanita when I was 7-8 years old.
Oh, really?
Yes, because, like, my father always bought it after I went to groceries, run some errands. And then from that day onwards, I really like something like really chill, up to date, and then I go for magazines. And third, newspaper. I know these days it's difficult. It's just different. People always go for digital rather than paper. But I think we should cultivate back all this kind of thing, because we never know in future. Yes, we can see that all the technologies advances, but then we need to also take into account that at the end of the day, all the papers is valuable as well.
Yes. I agree. I think there's something somehow, I guess this is a more romantic perspective, but I think there's something really romantic about reading on paper. It's just like a feeling to it it's incomparable to reading ebooks. It's like well, these days, we have the leisure, the opportunity to somehow read ebooks online, so you don't splurge as much. But then what I always do is I'll read snippets of it like online, and if it's like really speaking to me, then I'll try to find a physical copy. Because don't you agree, there's just like the feeling of reading like a physical book. It's completely different.
So true.
And okay, so basically, to summarize, like your starter pack would be The Alchemist.
Yes.
And basically, like leisurely reading materials somehow, like magazines and newspapers that are a lot easier to digest.
Yes.
Really. Okay, and yeah, that's, well, you guys heard it here first. If you're new to reading, Sister Kaisara recommends you reach out to newspapers, magazines, and obviously her personal favorite, The Alchemist. Okay, and we're touching base a bit on how to build reading habits, but we will get deeper into that right after a short break. We'll be right back. Keep tuning into IMFM, your campus radio.
Semua sekali.
with us at IMFM, your campus radio, on the second episode of The Princess Diaries on the Regal reading list. Right, and we are obviously still in the studio with our special guest today, Sister Kaisara. And let's have like a quick recap on the things that we've discussed thus far. We've heard Sister Kaisara's personal recommendations for women in their 20s, a starter pack, and now that you know all these books that you want to read, the big question is, how do you start reading? Because it really is easier said than done, especially if it's not something that you have a personal interest in. So let's start with as university students, we're juggling a lot of things in our lives. We have our assignments and the classes that we go to, and usually by the time we're back, we're pretty exhausted and we just end up going on our phones. And so many people usually struggle to find time to read. What are your personal tips in building a consistent reading habit?
Okay, I would say that first thing, even if me myself, I sometimes go through reading slump, but then I start off my day with reading first.
Okay.
So I have books beside me. And then I start living through even just 1 to 2 pages. I will try to read at least, because like my goal is at least I got new vocabulary today.
I see.
So yeah.
Okay, so what kind of books you usually keep by your bedside?
At the moment, I'm currently reading Noam Chomsky, How the World Works. So I living through a few pages for at least since the book is quite heavy.
Yeah.
So sometimes 1 page one day. So that was a book that I'm currently with me all the time.
I see. And this is something that you would recommend to people who are trying to keep a consistent reading habit? It's like just make it a goal, like 1 page a day.
Yes, at least, because and also put it your book with you all the time. Makes you it will trigger your emotion sometimes. Like I have something, I have a book with me, and why don't I read it? So that was the thing.
I see.
I fostered it when I was in high school, and then till now I'm still doing it.
Yeah, so when you carry it with you all the time, you find yourself just reaching for it.
Yes,
I
so
see.
true.
Okay. Right, I might start doing that because I do struggle to find time, because by the time I head back to my room after classes are done, I'm pretty knackered, so I tend to forget, and then I'll end the day, I'm like, wait, I haven't read anything yet today. Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll start carrying around books as well.
Yes.
Okay, so do you annotate or take notes while reading, or do you just read for enjoyment?
I do both.
You do both?
All, I would say. I do annotate, but for fiction book only.
Oh, you only annotate for fictional books.
Only.
What? I've never gotten into it, and I don't really understand what people do. What do you annotate exactly?
Annotate how you portray your emotion when you're reading that. So that's why, for a blue color, it shows that I'm sad when I'm reading that. For pink color, I'm so happy when I'm reading this line.
I see.
So yeah.
So when you go back and you skim through, you can say, oh, this was a happy scene.
Yes. So it was easy for me.
Okay. And do you recommend it? Would you recommend annotating? Because I know it's a very yes and no kind of situation. Most people don't prefer it. But for new readers, would you recommend annotating?
I think for the starter, better just enjoy it first. Because if you happen to read Mortimer Adler, if I'm not mistaken, How to Read a Book, he mentioned that we need to at least read 3 times any books that we want to read. You want to understand, because first time is about skimming.
Okay.
Second time is about take things that you might be disregard, and then third it's about understanding.
Oh, okay. For any kind of book.
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, you to learn all these kind of things, you have to be around people who read as well.
Yes.
So for those who want to join a book club but they feel intimidated because it's a new space, what advice would you give?
I think be hungry. You cannot just stay in the same place. At least you need to challenge yourself to become the better version of yourself. That's the goal, right? If you stay in the same place, being stand still, you know what?
Yeah,
the outcome is not that good. I really dislike people who don't want to change. Because like, please do some things. Please change yourself.
Understood.
Become a better person. Like, it's not just for everyone. It's not just for anyone else. It's for you.
Mm-hmm. So you're like a huge I guess you're not a huge fan of staying stagnant.
Yes, I hate being stagnant.
And how do you make sure, like, how do you personally like make sure that you're always going through some kind of change? Because like, I don't know, I guess it's hard to notice when you've gotten into a habit. So how do you kind of break out of that cycle, you personally?
I think I go for new skills. I always discover new things, especially starting last year. I write like a non-exhaustive list of my bucket list. So this thing that I want to do, this thing I want to do, I want to go, I want to have book club, and so on. And then that's one thing. And then always, like I said, read at least one page, because like being a growth mindset, you change, meaning that you read something and then you will see that you will different after you read, right?
Yes,
usually,
definitely. All right. We'll be right back. Maybe after a quick break, we'll talk a bit more on reading habits during Ramadan.
Sure.
All right. So keep tuning into IMF on your campus radio. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, we are from Umanet Radio.
Renta informasi terkini.
Don't forget to tune in to iium.fm,
Your campus radio.
Inilah gerangan suatu mengarangkan syair terlalu indah, membetuli jalan tempat berpindah. Di sanalah iktikad diperbetuli sudah. Wahai muda, kenali dirimu. Ialah perahu tamsil tubuhmu. Tiadalah berapa akhirat jua kekal diammu. Wahai muda arif budiman, hasilkan kemudi dengan pedoman. Alat perahumu jua kerjakan. Itulah jalan membetuli insan. Perteguh jua alat perahumu, hasilkan bekal air dan kayu. Dayung pengayuh taruh di situ. Supaya laju perahumu itu.
Welcome back to IMFM, your campus radio. Still with me, DJ Shara, and our guest today, Sister Kaisara, on our episode on Royal Reads. Right. So, sadly, we are nearing the end of our session today, and I'm telling you guys, it is sadly because we feel like we've just gotten gotten the momentum. But it's okay. Because, you know, all good things must come to an end. So, if listeners could take away just one lesson from today's episode, what would it be?
Comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's your key takeaway.
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, okay. What I mean by that is that in order to grow, you need to challenge yourself, like I said. Being comfortable with the uncomfortable things within you. You need to unlearn, relearn back anything that is not necessary for your future. So to become the better version of yourself, you need to be like I said, not being stagnant. Because like if you feel uncomfortable, meaning that you learn something. But if you feel comfortable, you're not gonna learn anything.
That's true. It's because it's like you have to always seek discomfort in a way.
Yes, so true.
And which is very daunting for a lot of people, myself
true.
included.
Even me myself.
Yes. So yeah, we will learn together, and one way to do that obviously is to I guess reading books with different perspective is also a form of challenging yourself, because it kind of helps you, because we tend to just seek things that like feed into our beliefs. So would you say that reading, making sure that you have a variety of reads helps you grow?
Yes, so true.
Right. And can you leave us maybe with a challenge for our listeners that might be new readers to try this week?
Okay, pick one book and then screenshot and then post it on your WhatsApp status. Because like when people see that WhatsApp status, sometimes they are inspired.
Oh, okay.
So.
And you also, because you posted it, now you have an obligation to read it.
Yeah, so true.
Because now everyone's asking you what happened to the book.
Yes, that's so true.
Right. Well, that's one way to hold yourself accountable. Okay. And where can obviously, I think with all the things that we've discussed today, our listeners and myself included would be very much interested in somehow getting to know the community you've built and getting to know you more intimately, obviously, because you are part of the book club as well.
Okay.
So where can our listeners find your book club, and how can they get involved?
you guys can check them out on Instagram. Mockingbirds Book Club with an S, because I just changed the handle for quite months sometimes. Mockingbirds Book Club, and then you can just DM if you want to join. And it's not just confined to IIUM student. Actually, since I've been received quite frequent question about this. Is this the IIM club? No, it's not. It's just my own personal initiative, like a foundation for me to giving back to society. So you guys can check them out on Instagram, Mockingbirds Book Club. It's a emerald green logo with a gold MB. It's like a royal kind of thing.
Suits our episode.
Yes, suits our episode. And you can, if you don't mind, you can just reach me out. But I'm not gonna give you my phone number on live.
And how often do you guys have like meets or discussions?
Last year we have quite some time, like especially physical, like 2 to 3 times. Online, every month we will have at least one session for online.
I see. Okay, and which is much more manageable, especially if you're away and there's no physical commitment. Okay, but obviously the physical gatherings are a lot more fun. Yes. Okay, so that's how you guys can find Kaisara and the Mockingbirds Book Club. Go to their Instagram page. And obviously, to our lovely listeners, thank you for lending your ear and time to listening to our program. And I would also love to remind you guys to stay updated with our social media, IMFM, by following us on our Instagram, TikTok, and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. Right, so do you have any last words? Maybe like a finishing quote for the listeners?
I think I do have. Always remember, strong is beautiful and beautiful is you.
Okay. Well, we're putting that on our Instagram story. Okay, thank you so much, Kaisara, for joining us today. Would you like to say goodbye to the listeners?
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Hopefully, we see you guys on the Mockingbirds Book Club. Yes. All right, bye-bye. Make sure to tune in. Keep tuning into MFM, your campus radio, and stay updated for the next upcoming episode of The Princess Diaries. Until next time, keep your tiaras up. This was DJ Shara. Bye-bye.
Cuz, I'm still sick.
Marty, you've been sick for 2 weeks now. Have you been drinking water? Marty, I told you to keep drinking water. You have to stay hydrated, especially with that cough.
Okay, I'm sorry. I promise I'll drink more.
So guys, don't be like Marty. Drink water, plenty of water, to keep hydrated.
And always take care of your health, because that is your main priority. I'm DJ Marty.
And I'm DJ Cass.
And this message is brought to you by IIUM FM, your campus radio.